You know what? I think I might do just that. Last week I made a video doing some ghost type mega evolutions for Halloween, and in that video I expressed my utter love for Overqwil, the evolution to Hisuian quillfish. I think with the Pokemon Legends series being quite fresh in everyone's minds thanks to the new game that's out, it would be really nice to go back a few years and revisit some of the really super dope Hisuian form evolution Pokemon. I love every single one. I really like the idea of taking some of these and giving them like a modern counterpart. I mean, what would a Jotonian Overqwil or Sneasler look like? I wanna know! The first Pokemon I am modernizing is, of course, Overqwil. I cannot help myself. I love this, the spiky ball. I just love it so much. I'm going to draw it in the same stance as Qwilfish because the Hisuian ones have the same pose, so it would be, you know, a nice balance if the Jotonian ones did too. Overqwil at first just gives big Qwilfish, and, you know, it kinda is, but it has some of its own stuff going on too, such as its equator line, no idea how else to word this, being curved rather than straight. Overqwil isn't straight, confirmed. After getting the body and face drawn, I went in and drew in the spikes, which I didn't want to be the exact same as the Hisuian ones, so I just didn't reference Overqwil's original form for these. Instead, I referenced where Qwilfish's spikes were positioned and then extended them from there. I think it's turning out pretty good. I'm really enjoying the vibe it's got going on, and it's got a different silhouette yet still recognizable, which is something I'm really aspiring for in this rendition of our lovely quilled friend. I just said all of that in one breath. That killed me. I have finally finished sketching my details, so now it is time to add in the color, which is just the same as regular Qwilfish's palette. Now, the typing will just be water poison as opposed to dark poison, so I'm trying to not make it look too menacing, but I realized after blocking in the colors, I didn't add any venomous accent colors to the quills or anywhere else in the body. I'm still not actually sure if I want to add them yet, but we'll see how I go. If I add them in during the polish, then you'll see them at the end. The tail also does not have the signature Hisuian quill family Q. Instead, I've given it just 3 dashes as opposed to Qwilfish's 2. Also, in the Pokédex entry for my Mega Qwilfish, it says that unlike other Mega evolutions, it appears as though Qwilfish is actually attempting a proper evolution. And in that design, the tail displays a sort of M design, which could signify that it was trying to evolve into this Overqwil. Someone alert the professor. Next, we have the fierce Sneasler, a wonderful addition to Sneasel if I say so myself. I cannot believe how tall it is though. We're talking legs for days. My idea for this evolution is to give it back the fighting type in lieu of dark type and retain the ice typing. So it's going to basically be fighting ice type. The only other Pokemon with this typing I'm pretty sure is Crabominable, so, you know, shout out. I want it to look quite similar to Hisuian Sneasler, but also look like a natural branch evolution for the modern day Sneasel. This means we're keeping the height, but we're also going to spike it out a bit. The Hisuian form takes on a more softer appearance, if you know what I mean. The edges are rounded a bit more, and it doesn't really have that same roughness that the original has. The pose was pretty tricky to come up with. Sneasler is very slender, and I'm also not puffing out its fur around the bottom of its legs, so it has ample opportunity to look incredibly strange, but I'm just working on it and redoing parts until it looks somewhat acceptable. I think I have the head way too tilted, so that's gonna need to be rotated before I continue. Now, I have an idea to do like a fighter pose where the person's got like their hand over their big sap and they're like rolling their sleeve up to show off their guns. Do you know what kind of pose I'm talking about? I can't even find a reference picture. I'll put one on if I can. I worked on this for a while, but the biggest problem was that there wasn't enough length in its arms to actually have the pose make sense. I did try resizing a few things and make some parts longer or shorter, but ultimately I accepted the fact that, with its anatomy, Sneasler cannot pull off this pose. It's actually impossible, and that's why I can't get it to look right without distorting the proportions in an uncanny way. The idea was sick though. May it rest in peace, just like Hisuian Sneasler. So I moved on to idea number number 2 where I had Sneasler clench its fists and hold one of them up, kind of like it's, you know, going to shake its fist at the damn youth in the neighborhood. You know, old people problems. Now I can do the fun part, all of the details and designs. So the feet are just going to take after Weevil's with just a classic paw and 3 claws. Nothing too crazy. I also gave it a very similar tail. The headpiece is pretty Sneasler coded. It's very unique to this Pokemon and would be wrong to erase, so I kept it very similar, pretty much the exact same. The eyes take on a similar style to Sneasel and Weevil's eyes, with the thick lashes from Sneasel and Weevil's style. Also, say goodbye to the diamonds, it's just Marina now. The diamond gems that were on the head and chest, I wrote dead in the script, isn't that like horrible? But yeah, the diamond gems that were on the head and chest are now just the oval gems, just like the original designs have. Finally, I gave it a cape. The Hisuian form has some fur kind of cloaked around its torso area, so I extended it a bit and made it look slightly more feral. The color palette is just Sneasel's, nothing too crazy there. Now it is time for the Blood Moon Beast, except not so Blood Moon this time around. Ursaluna is a cool Pokemon, like super awesome. I was so excited to see an evolution to Ursaring because it's a Pokemon that before I felt was pretty overlooked, and honestly I didn't even use it in my own teams, but now everyone wants an Ursaluna. There is actually a modern day Ursaluna in existence already called Blood Moon Ursaluna, but this form is the result of the Hisuian Ursaluna being stuck in some time anomaly forest for many years, eventually decaying into the fabled Blood Moon Beast. I want to make an Ursaluna that is fresh and evolves from modern day Ursaring. I'm basing my body proportions and stance on the Blood Moon version since I imagine it would be walking on all 2s. Mine isn't going to be part ground type, so there's really nothing weighing it down. The design itself is going to be pretty plain, I'm not gonna lie, but we'll have that immense torso that Ursaluna is famous for, because otherwise it'll just look like a big Ursaring. I like the mouth open look from the Hisuian art. I think it makes it look a bit more fearsome, so I'm incorporating that in my version. I also have it looking just a bit more agile than its other forms. I put the moon on its head and added in the claws, which are sharper and thinner than the original. Now for the fur? I suppose it is fur. It honestly looks like what I imagine happens if you put like way too much hair gel in your hair and then sculpt it into place. Well, either this or a Hot Wheels track. I know which one I prefer. So this is looking pretty good, guys. Like, you see it, right? Maybe it's also because I've been using this new pencil brush, which to be honest has been healing me. I have been a lot more liberal with my pencil strokes and just not afraid to make something look messy. It's literally how I learned to draw as well. Like when I was in art school, I was very much encouraged to just draw and keep drawing and sculpt the image as you keep drawing it. And yeah, now I see why. Over the past few years, I've just trained myself out of that for some reason, so I'm going back in. Now for the colors, which originally I just did Ursaring's palette exactly, but it looks way too bare. The only reason it works with Ursaring is because it has a huge circle on its chest to break the design apart, but my dearest Ursaluna isn't as lucky. So I split it into 2 segments of color and experimented with a few different combinations until I settled on Ursaluna on the top and Ursaring on the bottom. And yeah, it seriously helped this design out, like by a lot. Okay, I finally have a few artworks to share alongside some new typings and evolution methods for your beloved Hisuian Johtomons. First up, we have Overqwil, the pin cluster Pokemon, and a water poison type with the abilities Poison Point and Swift Swim. It evolves from Quillfish when leveled up, knowing the move Pin Missile. Next, it is Sneasler, the Ice Climb Pokemon, and a fighting ice type with the abilities Immunity and Arena Trap. It evolves from Sneasel, starting at level 38 at nighttime. Make sure you don't give it that Razor Claw, because you'll just get Weavile instead. And finally, it is Ursaluna, the full moon Pokemon. It is a normal dark type with the abilities Guts and Intimidate. It evolves from Ursaring when exposed to a moonstone. I hope you like my modern day Hisuian mons. Funnily enough, I didn't actually plan for these to be all Gen 2 Hisuian evolutions, but I guess that gen just got a lot of love. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every single fakemon Friday or Saturday if you live in Mirage Island, just like me. And thank you to the channel members. As always, I really appreciate your support. I'm also heading back on Twitch as a PNG tuber. If you liked my streams when I used to do them on this YouTube channel, and you want to see me do more art streams, and you want your requests drawn and all that kind of fun stuff, please head over to my Twitch. That's where I'm going to be doing all of that, plus game stuff, so you know, shiny hunting, and I mean that's the only thing I do with the Pokemon game. So yeah, if you like all that, please go check out my Twitch. Anyways, comment your favorite Ursaluna form. The correct answer is mine.